All right, so we're on question 49 from math practice test number 1 in the red book. So go ahead and hit pause on the video now and find question 49 in the first math practice test. Great, so you're on question 49 and you're seeing some crazy graphs and you might be like, what the heck is this? Well, at a certain point in your math career in high school, you learn about quadratic equations. All right? And as you learn about quadratic equations, what you also learn is that their graphs are what we call a parabola. Not a parabola. That sounds like some virus that we don't want, right? But it's a parabola. And so what you have here is you have 3 parabolas graphed, and they give you a little bit of information about each one. But what I want to do is I want to do a quick object lesson here on parabolas and quadratic equations. This is standard form for a quadratic equation. Okay? There's going to be coefficients a, b, and c. All right? X are the variables, but you have x squared as your the first term in standard form of a quadratic equation. And there's some things you got to know about what these coefficients or what these numbers do to the equation, or the graph, better said, of a quadratic. So this number right here, the a, impacts a couple things. All right? It impacts whether the parabola opens up or down. If a is negative, the parabola will open down. If a is positive, the parabola will open up. So the cool thing is, if you look at the graphs on this problem, you know that no matter what, the leading coefficient has to be positive. So there's something we know, right? The leading coefficient must be positive because the graphs open up, okay? Now, there's something else really important. This also determines how skinny the graph is or how wide the graph is, depending on what this number is, okay? And so it affects the relative skinniness. Is that even a thing? The width might be the more appropriate term. So it affects the width, all right, of the parabola. Now, we also need to understand, most particularly, this number, c. So c is always going to be your y-intercept. Now, if you don't know what a y-intercept is, that's a whole nother study that you need to figure out. The y-intercept is the point where the graph intersects the y-axis. And so when you look at these graphs and you're looking to see which equation would relate to any of these, you know a couple things. You know it's going to open up, okay? And you know that the y-intercept has to be 1. If you're looking at the graphs, the y-intercept has to be 1, and you know it's going to open up. With that much information right there, right, you're left with option A or B, okay? And what you would also know is that with the width conversation, okay, the larger this number, the skinnier the graph. So as n gets larger and larger, the graph gets skinnier and skinnier. So you know you're not dealing with a fraction like in B. It has to be A, where n is getting larger and larger instead of smaller and smaller by a fraction. And so the answer must be, due to process of elimination, A.